I'm gonna adjust the camera just a bit here. Maybe I'll put it more towards the side so I can paint. There we go. So here's our final image. Here's our final image. All right, so let's recap and let's see where we were before. On our last session, I worked on the fur and I added all this texture to the lighted area, and I've worked this fur a little more. I added a little bit more blue on the shadows and just bump up some color. This area became lighter, so it will come forward. And I think overall I'm pretty happy the way the texture works here. I did glaze some raw umber, I'm sorry, Van Dyke brown on the ear just to darken a little bit. And that's about it. And I didn't do much after our last session. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna work on this part of the fur, and I'm only gonna stream just a section. I mean, I think once, especially here, I liked all this, everything is going on here, and because I think this is the most important. Everything else, I think it can be done rather quickly. So first things first, I want this to dry certainly on the quicker side, so I don't want to wait too long. I'm gonna change my rag first. And all right, I have a brand new paper towel here. Okay. And I'm going to, there are different ways of using liquid, and sometimes I mix it, I put it on the mix, but this time I'm just gonna apply it all over the area where I wanted it to work, and it's not gonna be a lot. It's gonna be fairly thin. This is a bottle that I'm using. Oops, I just painted did I just paint it? My lens? Well, I guess not. Okay, so that's the one I'm using. I don't know if I can focus on this. All right, well, liquid original. You can find it everywhere. All right, and a little bit goes long ways. This should dry by tomorrow, or maybe not. Maybe Sunday, the most. And with, I'm on air conditioner, so not a lot of humidity. All right, that should be enough. Okay, so now I'm gonna work with the darks first, and then with the lights. So basically, I have here's a picture. I have dark to light, right? It's basically a cylinder here. And so, and the light is a cool light, it's a bluish purple light, and it fades so into the dark. So I'm not gonna use this picture. I'm not gonna put it on the gold leaf right now, so I don't want it to damage it. I have to be very careful with the gold leaf and make sure that I don't put many fingerprints on them. So basic raw umber now. I'm gonna use a basic raw umber, or Van Dyke brown. I don't know if I can see what I'm doing here. Let me see. Okay, that's better. Okay. Basic Van Dyke brown. Very thin layer, almost no medium. I mean, except for the liquid that I use underneath. But apart from that, and put some more here. And here, I like that this color is wet on the left, so that allows me to get a more diffuse edge, not as sharp. All right. And now it's a matter of what kind of a brush I'm gonna use for this fur. I'm tempted to use this fan brush. It's a smaller one. That may work. Let's see. I already have a mixture here of a blue, and it's ultramarine blue with touches of a bit of umber and yellow. Did I use yellow ochre? Yes, a little bit of yellow ochre on this. I had this pre-mixed before, so. Okay, I kind of like this. I kind of like the randomness of the fan brush. It's almost like painting clouds. Now, I may need to, once I'm done here with this, lower the tone, just like I did here in the ear with a glaze of umber. And I may need to do that here too. I'm not sure. We'll see how the final result is. For now, if I squint, these are kind of similar, but not so much in terms of tonality. I may darken this edge just a tiny bit. Just so I can get more separation. There. And now as I work my way down, it feels more on the purple tone, so I'm mixing a little bit of Indian red here, which is fairly opaque, and at the same time I'm mixing some more brown because it's getting darker. This turned out to be a little bit too light, so no problem there. I can scrape that off and add more of that, and that's a lot better. And there's something about seeing the color underneath that it makes it more luminous, the shadows. I love to see what's underneath and what's happening there, and it's gives a kind of a Rembrandt atmosphere. So I am definitely not working this at the same with the same detail than the rest of the image, just because this is all secondary. All right, and here it starts to get a little more luminous here, so it's getting more light. So I'll put a little bit more of a yellow ochre to my mixture here. And the fur has this pattern here. So I'm bringing light here. Okay, I like that. And back with some reds in between. And here's a little more purple. Okay. Now I'm back with yellow ochre and the same mixture I had. So the same tone. And as I am doing this, I am twisting my brush to form a sharp edge at the end, like if it was the real fur. Just create the effect of fur. Yeah. And it's light coming here, so it's gonna be light to dark, right? All this is gonna start getting darker here and more diffuse. Well, I already like what I see. It feels like it's windy wherever this lamp is. Feels like wind. I think I made the right choice by using the fan brush. All right, now here's where we meet when we start transitioning towards this area, towards the light, and instead of getting the darks into it, I'm gonna get the light over the dark. So for that, I am going to bring some orangey, yellowy color. Maybe we can say I'm bringing heat into the equation here for the transition. It's a little bit. It feels like it's more. It's warm. It's a warm light. It's almost like fire, like the idea of fire into the fur. Okay. And I'm gonna add a few highlights. I'm gonna use my linseed oil and add some highlights. This is essentially the same color that I had here, and this is coming into here. All right. So in this case, I am not using the palette knife because I don't want a lot of texture here. Oh, I like this. It looks slanted in the video, but maybe I can fix it a little bit there. I do like the effect. Right? Okay, and let's put some more light here. And the reason why I went from light over dark is simply because it blends better when the surface is it's wet, rather than trying to put the shadow in between here. Maybe I use the palette knife here for this, just in a few areas. That's it. Very random. Very random. All right. So the next area that needs the same treatment is up here, but the difference is that here it's a lot more blended. So because it's in distance, so it doesn't receive the same treatment. So yes, there's light here. And I'm gonna run. I may be able to do all this in one shot. I may be able to. All right, let me get my Van Dyke brown here. Fan brush. A little bit of oil, linseed oil. And I'm just gonna continue. I'm gonna move my, well, maybe I just leave it like that. I usually paint the side of the canvas too, in this case, but for this demo, just gonna paint whatever you see here. All right, it's going to be definitely darker here than up here, right? Because we know that the light is, this is a cylinder, so the light is turning. And I do want to see those beautiful reds coming through the fur. I think it does really make, it makes the shadows not, the shadows don't look muddy, they look, they just have color. And of course Rembrandt knew it. And now you do, if you didn't know it. Okay, so I am just bringing this warm color back here. And the further away that I am painting from the focal point, the less detail I want to put. it could be a matter of style, but also I think it's it just makes it it creates a hierarchy, and I talked about hierarchies the other day, where there's certain elements on the painting that have more important than others. All right, I'm gonna mix some of this purple that I have, which I lost. Well, first I'm gonna mix this blue, so blue purple, and I'm using ultramarine here with some diaxis in purple. And all this is very transparent. Lots of oil here. So give the feeling of fur. And the brush is, what can I say? It's different angles and different, it goes into different directions. But I'm still keeping some kind of order, even though it looks chaotic. It's light on the top and shadow on the bottom. And I know I go kind of fast, but if you can see, I start my brush stroke on the top, bottom. Let's put some light here. Here's some yellow, which I can bring over here too. It's such a different way of treating the fur than what I did here. But it also speaks of two different elements and two different areas in space, if you will. So how does a photograph treats this? It just blurs it, right? It just makes it blurry. I go for texture. I put a different texture and a different brush stroke too. So different approaches. You know, photography does its thing, and we artists, painters, we do our own thing. Now it communicates differently too. Okay. It's kind of hard to see on the video. Maybe I can zoom out just a tiny bit. I guess I can. Okay, I have another painting there. Okay, I love to look at the screen now. I'm looking at the screen and how I'm comparing. And I see that I can certainly use more purple here. That's a transition. But I have to be careful not to make it too white, too light. It's a darker purple. And again, you know, these are just like painting clouds, right? I'm making sure I leave gaps in between here so I can see the dark underneath still coming through. So all the way here is going to be darker, so Let me grab the same mix I had and just darken it with a little bit of raw umber and Van Dyke brown. Still purple, but on the darker purple. See if I get it right. Always mix your colors on the palette first. Well, not yet, but I can use this. Can lift up some highlights here. Maybe I can go here. Let's make it even darker. I'm gonna add some of this chromatic black that I had. Clean my brush and start and load the brush again, and let's see. Yeah, it's good. Not as dark as the other one. Not as purple, I should say. So I'm gonna put some more purple. And there are very subtle variations in color. I mean, I can see it here on the canvas. Okay. That kind of works. Throughout all this process, I can slow down, and you don't have to go as fast, and you can take your time. I'm just so used to doing it, so I know a lot of my students, they ask me to slow down because it's they're not used to handling the brush the way I do it. So you can see that I kind of make this movement like a circle, and I'm going in rows too. And I talked a little bit about being symbolic when you're doing this, just like creating these lines. They don't necessarily are part of it, but you create this symbol of it, and the viewer will interpret it as fur, rather than painting each strand from the photograph. I don't do that. It's not my style. Okay. All right, so as I get approach to this corner, less and less detail here. It's more about the effect. And that's very interesting. This is very, very interesting. I'm gonna add a few more. I'm gonna intensify this purple here. I add a little bit of a loose frame here. So I have this combination of warms and cools, which makes it very, very pleasant. It's almost like an impressionistic type of effect here. All right. Well, I think that's a good. I think I'm at a good stopping point. This was a shorter video than the other ones, just because it's the final details and final touches. I want to try my palette knife here and just remove some. I mean, overall, I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy the way it turned out. Okay. Here, I'm gonna be more careful here on this edge. And I'm just going to go, just blur it. With a dry brush. Okay. And that's how you paint a lamp. My style. Question, comments, just write them down, and I promise I'll answer all of your questions. It was fun. It was fun painting. I painted quite a few lamps this year, and but this one in particular, doing the texture, I'm gonna move the camera and see if I can show you the texture up close here. Okay, so here you can see all that texture. Here's the eye and the ear and the variations of blues and colors, and then the gold leaf. I just think it's a beautiful painting. Yeah, very peaceful and calm. I hope you enjoy it.